But maybe not for long. Big changes are coming to Wisconsin's emissions testing program, and now some want to get rid of it entirely. It's costing taxpayers millions, but may not be the best way to protect our air quality.
12 News' Kent Wainscott investigates the real price of emissions.
Well, I'll tell you, if the actual benefits of the emissions program are up in the air, so too may be its future. Tonight, 12 News investigates whether there's a better way to improve the quality of the air we breathe than a program some are calling a waste of time and money.
Stay right here is good. Leave it in park. Turn it off for me, please.
Those are familiar instructions to southeastern Wisconsin drivers. For more than a quarter century, federal law has required a regular auto emissions test for most vehicles. The test and the rules have changed over the years, but the system and requirement remain.
Here's how we do it.
The test today is quick and easy. A technician just plugs into the car's computer and reads out the results.
And vehicle test.
But some say that's the problem. Newer cars are equipped to spot problems without this test, and more are meeting the emission standards. A decade ago, out of nearly 700,000 cars tested, about 6% failed the test twice, the maximum number of tests required, keeping more than 41,000 polluting vehicles on the road. Last year, 140,000 fewer vehicles required testing, and less than 1% failed a second time, meaning more than 99% were clean.
You're all set, everything's done. Have a great day.
Some argue that new car technology has made this quarter-century-old testing system unnecessary.
It really doesn't make sense anymore.
State Representative Jeff Stone is pushing a plan to do away with Wisconsin's emissions test.
I think it's outdated. I think it's an inconvenience. I think it's wasteful of money. And I think there's better things we can do for the environment.
Yes, sir. That's it right there. Thank you.
All right. There you go.
Thank you.
Now, steps are already underway to trim costs. A new company's been awarded the contract for this program, and beginning next summer, emissions testing sites like this one may no longer exist. You might just take your vehicle to a certified mechanic or garage and get your emissions test while you're getting your oil changed. That will save taxpayers a little more than $500,000 a year. But even under the new revised system, the state will likely still be paying a contractor more than $2.5 million a year to administer the program.
Auto emissions are tremendously important. They're one of the main sources of air pollutants.
Dr. Amy Kalkbrenner of the UWM School of Public Health says new technology may be more effective in improving the environment than running our cars through this type of test.
We also know how to make cars cleaner in manufacturing them. And I think that that really is the solution that removes the burden from the individual.
The requirement for emissions testing comes from the federal government's Clean Air Act, and dropping it would require a waiver from the EPA.
It's just an intrusion in government that's unnecessary, but that happens because we've always done it that way.
Stone's plan is to eliminate the test and instead invest the millions of dollars locally in new technology and research.
We should be able to take our plan here in Wisconsin and do something that's much more forward-looking, do something that uses the science that we have available to us in 2011 rather than 1985.
Representative Stone's proposal would end the program and use that money for incentives for things like the purchase of low-emission vehicles and for investments in local companies and colleges for battery technology research. A public hearing on the plan is expected sometime next month.
But it's not entirely up to the state to drop this program.
No, right. The EPA would have to allow Wisconsin to opt out. The DNR tells me it will request a waiver from the EPA if the state legislature directs the EPA, the DNR to do that. The EPA didn't respond to our question about the waiver, only about the changes to the system that will take place next year, saying that those shouldn't affect the benefits from the current program.
And again, we'll all see those changes.
Everybody who goes in for an emission test with their vehicle will, instead of the test facilities, hundreds of repair shops will be certified to do the tests. And there have been some concerns about how that operates in other states that have gone to that type of system. We'll see how it works here, but in the meantime, that move to do away with the system entirely is about to start up soon in Madison.
Okay, thank you. Sure.
New era. The